Hey everyone, Keough here with a new training video for you, and this actually took place over the previous 2 days, okay? So you're going to see footage, squat footage from the 13th of February and bench press footage from the 14th of February. For my squat, I did 4 sets of 5 with 355 pounds. This was the beginning of my second run-through with the base cycle of Smolov. As you know, I just simply reran it immediately after finishing with it the first time. The squats themselves felt really good. I felt really strong doing this. But after my 4th set, I decided to shut it down, and I decided that I would shut it down for the next week and a half. The reason for that is because my ribs have really been bothering me. Squatting in the belt has really been aggravating my ribs, and it's something that started up as early as the end of the first week of the first base cycle. So I basically trained 3 weeks through it. I've done a combination of belted and beltless work to try and get through it, but ultimately it's not getting any better. It's only going to continue to get worse if I try and train through it, and I don't feel like I can keep my technique and avoid really rounding over by doing all of these sets beltless. I feel like if I were to train beltless for a while, I think I'd have to really bring the training percentages down. I'd probably have to drop these individual training sessions down 15 or 20 pounds, and I'm just not willing to do that. I feel like at this point I'd be better off just trying to rest for a week, ice myself as often as possible, and just see how I feel in about 9 or 10 days. And so my hope is that I'll be back squatting next Sunday. I will just do the final 2 weeks then, and I'll use this as sort of a break, which I think is fine because I got through almost 4 weeks, just about 4 weeks of squatting 4 times a week, and really developed my squat. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy that my squat is feeling much stronger, especially coming out of the hole. But I do know that I need to take some time off to heal a few things up, particularly these ribs. Everything else is feeling pretty good. Adductors feeling pretty good. Issues I was having on my left side, just getting set up and getting the bar back on my shoulder on my left side, pain-free. That's felt pretty good. My right ankles felt pretty good. It's really just my ribs at this point. And so I'm gonna go get those fixed up. I'm gonna rest them, and then I'll come back and I'll finish this second base cycle. So what I wanted to talk about today while I squat, and in just a moment I'm going to do 255 for 8 sets of 3. What I wanted to talk about today is how I auto-regulate and how I think about volume, intensity, frequency, and exertion, which are, for me, the 4 qualities of training that I take into consideration when I do my programming for my main movements. I'm a believer in auto-regulation, and I'm a believer in thinking about volume, intensity, frequency, and exertion in a sort of in relation to one another and as part of a larger algorithm. Okay, and the reason why I use the algorithm analogy is just to make clear the fact that when you change one, it has an influence on the other. Okay, and as you know, I've made one modification to Smolov Jr., and that has been to take 1 repetition off of the last 2 days and add 1 on the first 2 days. And the reason why I've done that is to even out the exertion of the training week, okay? I don't want to do a lot of RPE 10 sets, particularly with a higher intensity weight, because that's what's produced injury in me in the past. An RPE 10 set is, by definition, a set in which the last rep was really tough and you could not have done another. And I felt like on my Saturday sessions I was doing too many of those. I was accumulating too many of those, and it was just a matter of time before I ended up getting hurt. So what I have done is I've tried to even out the exertion. Okay, the total training volume is going to be about the same, but I've evened out the exertion. So I don't have a really easy day and a really tough day. I have a bunch of moderately difficult days. I would call this day pretty moderately difficult, though it was a little easier than my last session. But that's kind of my end goal here. And in order to do that, you have to make, in order to even out the exertion, you have to make adjustments to volume, okay? So you can't just simply increase volume, intensity, frequency, and exertion together. When one goes up, another one has to go down. And usually we think about volume and intensity having an inverse relationship. So the higher volume you do in your training, the lower the average intensity, and vice versa. So if you do high intensity training, the volume is going to be a lot lower. You're not going to be able to do a lot of near max attempts in one session. It's not going to be productive for your training, but frequency and exertion also play a role, and I'm really trying to just even out the exertion on my Smolov Jr., and my hope is that by evening out the exertion, I'm going to be able to run it again and again up until this April meet. Keep checking in, more videos for you very soon.